Last week we worked on dynos. This week I want to work on dead points more specifically. So this video, it's a video of our A and junior athletes at provincials last season, and I picked out a lot of these dead point moves, and we're just going to talk a little bit about them so you know what style of move you're going to be practicing and what's important to think about when doing these moves. So first of all, a dead point it's not like a dyno where both hands are leaving the wall at the same time. Dead points, you usually always have one hand on the wall. You're just doing a really big move that requires a lot of momentum to get to the next one. And your feet may or may not come off the wall. So there's different types. So that one, I call that a dead point pop, where Gabby, she obviously had to jump, but you see that her left hand's never really come off that hold before she latches the next one. She's still holding on there. So what went on in that type of move? We talk about hips a lot. I probably sound like a broken record, but just look at her path of movement. Do you see how when you're doing a big move, it's easier to make kind of like a C pattern. So a lot of times you're going around your hand to get as much height as possible. And other times you'll be going this way, but for this move, that doesn't really make sense. So she's driving her hips in that direction towards the wall and up so that she can move in an arc to catch that hold and then reacting to that swing. So let's watch her. And there we go. And then continue watching here. So another dead point. This was a really thrutchy problem. There's a hold right up here. It's a really crappy little crimp. And she doesn't quite stick this, but again, we're emphasizing attention on the hips. So right here you can see Gabby went up. Her hips are already coming out as she's moving her hand up. So what that does is as soon she would have had good height there, but because her center of gravity is coming out and down, she's not able to complete that move. This was the UC boys problem, athlete Evan Lau. And for these dead points, I think it's really important that your feet are staying on and that you're dealing with tension. Like that's a pretty big move for him to get up to here, but I'm willing to bet that if his foot didn't remain on that hold, there's a good chance that he would have fallen off this hold. So knowing when you have to go big, like Gabby did in the previous video, and when you have to maintain body tension to stick these holds. And this next one, if you just look at the distance and also how good or bad the hold is, it's looking like this one's probably going to be a jump. Because if you're thinking about sequencing and, you know, this foot is pretty slopey, it's all on an overhang, it's going to be really hard for him to keep that foot intact when he's going to the next hold. So he did everything right. He geared up for a big move. He just needed to give it a little bit more. So his hips were pretty good. He's jumping. Probably could have jumped a little bit more powerful right off the bat. And this arm, if he could have pulled it to a more of a 90-degree angle, that would have got him a lot closer to that hold. See, he's really close there. Okay, I'm going to talk less, and I want you guys just to be watching this video and paying attention to where the dead points are. So this one's kind of like a slappy problem. You're going to see a lot of those really big, powerful moves where it's okay to jump and have your feet pop off, so long as you're going the full distance here. This is Caleb on one of the men's problems. And that's a cool move. I don't know if you guys know what that's called. This is called a pixie kick. Watch what he's doing with his left foot. He's swinging it this way. Again, we're talking about that C curve, to get momentum and to get his body to swing up in that direction to go to that hold, because he doesn't have a lot of other options to generate momentum from his right foot. So let's slow that down. Cool move, and a great move to practice for dead points is the pixie kick. So did you see how that leg was the driving force? Pretty awesome. I get so excited about movement, I can't help it. All right. And here's Gabby again. Going big distances on not the most pleasant undercling holds. So she's having to use momentum to get up here. And it's super important for her when moving dynamically to be able to keep her feet on, because these holds are all upside down. And you can see that one, the importance of keeping your feet on. She's here, she generates. Her foot blows before she hits that, and it changes her body position. As soon as she's pulling, now all of a sudden without that foot, her hips drop a little bit this way, and she comes up just shy of that hold and not able to make it happen. So footwork is important for these moves. Logan Jones on an A boulder. Kind of like sideways tension-y moves here. Pretty cool. And do you guys notice when people are being successful at these moves, like Logan obviously had to jump over here, but look at his arm position when he grabs this. I don't know if you remember back when we talked about Evan, when he was launching, his arm wasn't in that 90-degree position. He wasn't ready to pull. And so when his other hand got there, he couldn't catch it. Logan does a great job at immediately engaging both arms. He's trying to make the distance between these two holds shorter by being really strong in that shoulder position and locking his arms off to control the swing. So another thing to think about. And classic example of the importance of body tension here. He's pulling, he's doing a great job leading with his hips, and he's moving again in that C shape. He's getting here, and just like Gabby in that previous video, the importance of your feet sticking on the wall, it looks like he has it. His body comes back a bit because that's a powerful move, and you can see that he just loses tension, and the first thing to pop is his foot. And all of a sudden, once that's there, there's no way he's staying on these holds because they're sideways. They need a foot. They're too bad. I know I said I wouldn't talk more, but I just can't help analyzing all this. I wonder how many people will watch this all the way through. Oh, and here's a dyno from Laura. So that dyno wasn't, we're going to be focusing on dead points, but it's cool for you guys to see just another dyno and what a comp style dyno looks like. So she's doing a pretty good job of trying there, coming up shy. Needed to generate a bit more. That's about it. Okay, so now you know what dead points look like.